All right, this is Al Fix It with a 2007 Honda Civic, and we're going to change this thermostat for you, show you how easy it is. Hang in there, and I'll show you how to do this. All right, so we're going to check out why the temperature gauge is going out of sight. And there's only so many things that could cause that. You know, you need to flush your radiator, check your radiator cap, and you know, check the well, it could have a blown head gasket or something that could be more expensive. And there's the thermostat. Most of the time, right there, the cap. You'd be surprised how many times that's the whole problem, because it'll really throw you off. So be sure to check your cap. Actually, just get a new cap. You need to do that every so often. All right, so then there's the fans right behind the radiator. And the way to check those fans is to just turn on your key to the on position and then turn on your air conditioner. As soon as you crank on the air conditioner, those fans will take off and they'll be buzzing. So, all right, now we're going to empty out the coolant from the radiator. We've already flushed this radiator out and everything with a garden hose and stuff, and it didn't help us. By the way, if you want to know what really happened, what's wrong with this car, it's not the thermostat. Even though I'm going to show you how to change the thermostat. Hang on towards the end of the video here. I'll tell you what it really was, and it isn't any of these things that I named so far. So, okay, so underneath here, we're going to empty out the coolant, and we have to get to that thing right there. That's a white plastic plug deal. Just screw it out of there and try not to make a big mess like I did. You know, I'm always spilling things everywhere, and not good. Okay, the radiator hose right on top is easy to get to, and the thermostat is right under it. So that's what we're going to do, is get to that thermostat right there. In order to do that, we'll just take this top hose off of here and get it out of the way. By the way, this pliers, they're so handy, the channel locks type pliers. I'll try to put a link in the descriptions in case you want to order some on Amazon or something. That would be really cool, especially if you use my link to do it. I reach for those pliers more than anything else in my toolbox for most any project. So we stuffed this hose out of the way, and we got a couple of bolts for that bracket right there, and then a couple bolts for the thermostat. It's like, whoa, this is not hard. 10 millimeter. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. 10 millimeter. Yeah, just socket is fine. It's great. But if you got to do it with a wrench, you could do it with a wrench. You don't have to get fancy. And it just takes a little bit longer. But I got this ratchet set up. It's nice. Look how quickly this is going. I mean, there's the bracket out of the way. And then 2 more bolts. We'll take this thermostat right off. There's, you know, a lot of cars, thermostats, changing thermostats, not all that difficult. And especially this kind of car. It's right up front, and, well, they're almost always up front, but it's just easy to get to. It's not hard. There's not a lot of things to get out of the way. So it's pretty neat. You can do it. You guys can do this. Alright, I almost got it apart already. There it comes. Yeah. Now you're going to lose a little water, or you know, coolant that's still in the system, so it's going to drip and stuff. That's quite often stuck in there, so I'm using a little pliers or something just to yank on it and kind of work it loose. But there it is. That's the thermostat we're going to change. You'll notice that this thermostat, it has a rubber deal, kind of a gasket thing around it. So when I bought the new thermostat, it didn't come with that gasket. So here I am with a separate package, and I bought that separately. So there's the part numbers and stuff if you need for the gasket and the thermostat. You notice even the picture of the thermostat shows the gasket on it, but it's not when you open the package. It's bought separately by some companies. Some companies it does come together. That's something to watch for. All right, now I'm going to put this gasket on there, just like that, and it looks the same now. So on the back of it, there's a couple little bumps, little tits sticking up there that you got to put in place in these little slots down below. So when you put it in, you just turn it a little bit until it flops into that little place. And that's it, folks. We're going to just clean the surface of this thing before I bolt it together, but we're almost done. It's that simple, guys. It's that easy. All right, here we go. Going back together. You don't need to, gobbledygook it up with a bunch of gasket sealing stuff or anything. I found if you clean your surfaces nicely and everything, and it just bolts back together and it works just great. You don't have any leaks or anything. Now, keep in mind, this is little 10 millimeter bolts going into an aluminum alloy of some sort, and don't over tighten these. Just snug them up nicely. Now, see, my ratchet wrench is extra long, so I have to be extra careful that I don't apply too much torque and end up breaking something or messing up the threads or something. Because you will be in a lot of trouble if you do that. All right, the next two bolts, we just put that little bracket back on. You can see how quickly this is going back. This is a job that you can do in no time at all. It's not like an all-day job or even a half-a-day job. You can really do this in a very short time. 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. Okay, so once again, I just got to be a little careful. I don't overdo it with that big long handle that I have. Just 10 millimeter bolts. Okay. Now, here I am putting the hose back on. That was a mistake. And I'll show you pretty quick here. Because when you get ready to fill it up, don't forget to plug in the bottom, by the way, the plug in the bottom of the radiator. And then when you put the fluid in, it doesn't want to go in with this hose on there, because it airlocks air in there or something. And so you can see right there, that's only about a half a cup of fluid and it shows full. So here I am taking that hose back off again. Luckily, it's not hard to get to and not too hard to get off and on. As soon as I pull that off of there, then the level drops and I can go ahead and put coolant in, and it'll take the coolant nicely. Although I advise you to use a funnel or something instead of spilling it all over like I do. Drink, drink, drink. There we go. Now I can put this hose back on because it came up high enough that it's starting to run out the hose. So yeah. All right. So now you got everything back together again. We can, instead of putting this cap on tightly, I'm just going to set it on there, loose. And then start the car. And we'll get the car warming up. And as it's getting up to engine temperature, there may be some bubbles and things that might want to come out of there. So I give it a chance to do that before I actually tighten the cap down. So here we go, and notice the fans. Look at them go. When she turned on, when the honeybee here, my helper, when she turned on the car and the AC, there goes the fans. That's how you check your fans. Alright, so look at this. We didn't use very much tools. We didn't use very many tools. It's a few things, and you don't even have to have this many things to do this job. Of course, you need some coolant and everything, and you need a good helper like Honeybee. Say hi, Honeybee. Alright, so the real problem with this car wasn't any of these things, it was the gauge itself. Yeah, the gauge is messed up, and we're gonna have to tackle that. Now, it's good just to eliminate all these easy things, but yeah, when we checked the temperature on the engine at operating temperature, and even though the gauge was going crazy, the engine was at the proper temperature. So we got a problem with the gauge. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it helped you with your project. And remember, this is easy. It's not a hard job. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe, hit the bell, whatever you do, you know. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Adios.